There is a big talk about the new strategy of Europe spending 800 billion euros for European defense. First of all, I want to mention that from this 800 billion that it's planned to be spent by the year of 2030. From this 800 billion, they will spend 150 billion will be loan. These funds, this 150 billion euros of funds will be structured as a long-term loans, and they will be backed from the EU budget, so they can grow the military capabilities of Europe and especially the defensive industries. And this happened because of what happened with Ukraine and Russia. But this wasn't just the case. I believe with the election of Donald Trump, he made it clear to Europe that Europe needs to spend money to defend herself, because basically Americans don't want to do anything with that. We can't call them every time to secure, let's just say, the pass from Houthis. But this is not just a problem for Europe. When the announcement happened, it was really funny thing, because some countries jumped in and wanted a piece of the pie. And the two countries that wanted to jump in was UK and Turkey. But the thing is, for me, that these countries can't say anything about this thing, because if Europe wants to spend money on anything, they need to spend money inside of Europe, especially when it comes to defense, because if you make military airplanes, cars or tanks or whatever, outside of Europe don't need to know how your weapons really work and where they have advantages and disadvantages. The response of Europe was immediate. Europe will exclude US, UK and Turkey from this 150 billion. Basically because US said to everyone, spend money to your military because of NATO, and there are only 3 countries that spend around 3% of their GDP on military. That is USA, Greece and Turkey. And this was made especially from NATO. NATO says that you need to spend this amount of money from GDP every year for your defense. Basically meaning US wants money from making weapons. They have the technology and how to make these kind of things. And they know how to fix, and they know how to make weapons. And why these people and why these countries want to jump in this deal? Because the money are huge. Especially for the UK, this will help their economy bounce a little bit back. After 5 almost years from the Brexit, UK lost many things with not being in Europe. There is still 11% from the UK people that believe that Brexit was a success, and 55 believe that it was wrong for the UK to leave the Europe. But now we see why UK hasn't jumped back to the to their economy after the virus. That shows a lot. UK is in a collapse, especially in the economics. They need money and resources. I don't know how they will jump back. I don't know how they will do it, but I believe at some point a bigger percent than 55% will believe that Brexit was the biggest mistake England made in their latest history. The UK believes that the rise of the right is because of the Brexit. I don't believe that this is right, because the problems inside UK, especially for the immigration, is high, and it gets higher, as I covered in a video before that. And there are economists inside Europe that say that loans are a bad idea for to be used for creating anything inside Europe, because that grows the debt inside Europe. And I can't say that I disagree with that, but at the same time, Europe needs to be able to defend herself. Europe needs to be independent from anyone outside of the Union. And it's better to spend the loans inside Europe and grow the economies of the Union than give this money to someone from the outside, just as Turkey, US, Russia, or even China. It's better to have your own ecosystem. It can happen. It will take time, but something like that needs to change inside Europe. Out there in EU, there are lots of people that believe that making weapons is a bad idea, and we are not threatened by anyone. But we don't wait for someone to be threatened of. We need to be prepared if the case of someone threatens Europe. We need to be able to be proactive than running at the last minute to fix things that we cannot fix in a few months or days.
Be better.